What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Emphasis on Sports. Today's episode, college football is back. It's in full force. We just had week 2, which is kind of week 1. It's weird how college football does it. They even have a week 0. But either way, we just knocked out a fantastic week. Full slate, everybody grinding, everybody grooving. Top 25 was rolling. There were some great upsets. There were some blowouts. Let's talk about those. Now, also on today's episode, we do our NFL preview. All right. I've broken down divisions, division winners, Super Bowl matchup, award winners, all of those things. Let's talk about it now. Then as the season unfolds, we'll talk about exactly how wrong I am and how much I have the game messed up. Right. All right. So look, like and subscribe if you're new. If you're listening via podcast, we're available a little bit everywhere. Come check us out. We trying to drop a little more often, but we plug into the sports and the sports only. Let's roll with college football. Now, like I said, this was week 1. Seems like week 2, that there's actually a week 0 in college football. It's a real interesting thing, but a lot of movement in the top 25 already. But we started the weekend with Iowa State upsetting Kansas State at home. Kansas State, they haven't really looked that great, or at least we started the season. Kansas State also did not fare well this week, but let's see how they roll. Maybe they can rebound, get some things done. Now, Thursday night is where we started off. I don't know if anybody really expected South Florida to come out, defend the home field, and actually knock off Boise State. But one thing I alluded to last week, we wanted to see what Boise State was going to look like after Ashton Genty. Well, we just saw they went into South Florida and got smacked around. 34-7 is a big one. That wasn't even close. Now, we did have a ton of blowouts. Illinois waxed Western Illinois like they should. But we started Saturday with one of those, they always say, game of the year situations. This actually was one of those just because of all the hype. Now, you had Ohio State at home, ranked number 3 overall, defending national champion. They've been beating good teams, especially down the stretch. Other than Michigan, they actually did pretty well when you came to the playoffs and then going on to win a national championship. Ryan Day was up against a lot of criticism last year, especially after losing to Michigan. So winning that natty got him back right. Now you're having to defend home field against Texas, coming into the season ranked number 1 overall with Arch Manning. Arch Manning is the projected number 1 pick overall. He's in the lineage of Peyton, Eli, Archie Manning. He has all the fanfare that there could be, but you had to see it on the field. And I'm going to tell you, Arch did not look great. He looked like a quarterback that needs to find himself and needs to get a little bit better. Saw a lot of reports and a lot of people talking and saying, it's just going to be nepotism, him getting to the league. It's not. It's not. The young man's a good quarterback. Let's not get it twisted. He just played against one of the best teams in the country with all of the people talking, with all of this media and all that aimed at it. That's tough for anybody, let alone a young person. Now, the difference in a lot of the situations is this is college. He was there last year. He earned his spot as the number 1 quarterback for that team. Now he has to see if he can rebound and get it done the rest of the year. I think Texas will be okay. We all know with the new playoff format that one loss doesn't kill you, especially an early loss, especially the number 3 team in the country. So this one's going to be a decent one. I wasn't really expecting such a low scoring game. Ohio State only won 14. I thought there would be a lot more points on the board, but great game overall for Ohio State. Cheers to the Buckeyes. Another huge game on Saturday, LSU and Clemson. Tiger on Tiger, Death Valley on Death Valley. Clemson was the home team, but LSU walked in there and they got it done. This one was another low scoring game, 17-10. We know both of these teams are going to bring a lot of defense. I was expecting maybe a little more offense, but hey, these are top teams in their respective areas. LSU, I think they're going to end up being really, really good in the SEC. One of these other teams that we're going to talk about here that lost, I think they're going to fall back into the crowd a little bit, and LSU may take one of those top couple of spots in the SEC, which is always huge. Now, you did have Penn State, Georgia, Oregon. They put on shows. They put on clinics. This is what's supposed to happen. Arizona State, Michigan, those are wins that you see happening. Now, here's one that I don't think anybody saw happening the way that it happened. Florida State in Tallahassee took on Alabama and got the upset. Alabama walked in ranking number 8 overall. We know we're past the saving era. Now we're moving forward. We're trying to build this team. We're trying to get better, this, that, and other. Not in Tallahassee yet. We all saw Tallahassee get chipped out of going to the playoff, get not the playoff, but get gypped out of their movement after some injuries a couple years ago. We saw them fall off a cliff last year. They were absolutely horrible last year. Well, we'll start over. Let's see if we can get this done right this time. Mike Norvell's put together a real good team. Of course, you know you have your quarterback that's new to the system that came in and he played ball. Bama, they look all right, but they didn't look like Bama. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens with them as the season progresses, because I actually think that they're going to slip back a little bit. Only time will tell, but I don't think that was a great start from them, because it wasn't like Florida State was Ohio State or Texas or one of these teams that walk in there and you know that it's going to be one of those games. This was a team that I don't think anyone expected a 34-17 win with Florida State. If it's by a touchdown, if it's by a field goal, I'll feel a whole different way. But I watched this game. Florida State was the better team. All there is to it. Other big ones. Now, I talked about Kansas State going down to the beginning of their season to Iowa State. They held ground at home to North Dakota, but by a field goal. That's not for a team ranked 17 in the country. That's not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. I expect them to actually take some real big lumps. Other huge game that I loved watching yesterday. Miami and Notre Dame. Notre Dame walks in ranked number 6. Miami walks in ranked number 10, but they're at home. So now, what's Miami going to do? Are they going to bring the U back, or are they going to press the pedal to the metal on this number 10? They did. They held ground at Notre Dame. Notre Dame walks in with a lot of recruits. They walk in with a very outstanding team, a great coach, but they could not get it done. Yes, it was 27-24, but it wasn't that close. Notre Dame had to score a touchdown late to tie it up. Miami went and kicked the field goal and won the game, but Miami looked like a really good team, and they look like they're going to turn some heads as it goes. I'm really looking forward to seeing them. If we can see those same vibes with the U we were seeing on the sideline, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, you're seeing a little bit of everybody, all the guys, Michael Irvin, of course. Michael Irvin's always at the Hurricanes games, but the more you see the old players there, and they could bring that old vibe back without all the stuff. It is 2025. We don't need all of that. But if they could bring back those old vibes, college football was real fun when the U was rocking. Trust me when I tell you. So that was kind of my college football wrap up. Talk more about college football as the week goes. It's going to be a big weekend. There's always going to be huge games, especially with this conference kind of realignment and teams moving around. Some of the matchups conference wise are things that you don't really expect, but they are things that you can't wait to see, because you're going to have some of these matchups that are just mind blowing, mind bending, and that more than just Ohio State, Michigan. To be able to see like a USC, Ohio State, USC, Michigan, Texas, Alabama, some of these matchups that we're just going to see now in college all the time, not just on a year back-to-back thing. It's going to be real cool. Can't wait for the rest of college football season. All right, let's move on to the NFL. Like I said, NFL preview show. Let's break it all down. As you see, you've seen the team, 49ers, all day, all night. But I'm here to tell you, if you're new to the program, I'm honest about the Niners. I'm not gonna lie about them. I'm not gonna pat them on the back. Last year, very much down year. Yes, we can say all we want that the injuries were there. but there were some coaching mistakes. I believe definitely could have been done a little better. Now is plain and simple. Time to move on. Season starts on Thursday, not late. All right, let's go. Let's start in the AFC. Now, AFC East. AFC East is kind of an interesting one. We all know the Buffalo Bills, I believe, are going to win that division. Buffalo Bills are the best team in that division. Josh Allen, coming into this season, he looks like that player that's ready to ascend to the Super Bowl, possibly win one. Lord knows that the city of Buffalo and their fan base really needs it, really wants it. But can he do it? I believe Buffalo is going to take that step. They're going to win their division. I think they're going to win their division going away. After Buffalo, Miami could be good. You got to see how Tua is. Is he healthy? Is he playing at a high level? And then can they just stay healthy as a collective unit? Their running game always seems to suffer some terrible injuries at some point, at least the last couple of years. They could compete to win that division. I don't think that they win it, but I think that they actually come in second, establish really good footing. But once again, it depends on the health of the team, especially Tua. Now, then you have the New England Patriots. They're kind of interesting to me. Now, this is Drake May's second year. Drake May walks in with a pretty lofty expectation. He played pretty good last year. Can't say really anything bad about Drake May, but this is a team that, remember, we're past Brady, we're past Belichick. Now we're in a whole new realm with them. They did pretty well at the draft. I think that they have a pretty solid young team, but there's those learning steps, those things that they're just going to have to get through. They're going to get beat up some. They're going to get booed some. They're going to get cheered a lot. Let's see if New England can make that step. Rounding out the AFC East, we have the New York Jets. New York Jets with the arrival of Justin Fields with a new coach. It's always interesting when you have the new coach quarterback combination, especially when the coach is not an offensive minded coach. Aaron Glenn's going to be a fine coach, I believe, but he's a defensive coach. So let's see how well Justin Fields does. This is now his, I believe, third team. It's time to take that step, or are you just going to be who you are, which is not bad. He could be who he is and stay in the league for a very long time. Or is he going to ascend to stardom, the stardom that I think a lot of people were expecting? And I personally think that he can handle, he can manage. Some of the players on that team that I think are going to regress a little bit just because of the team and because I think they're going to be solid rollers. I think Garrett Wilson, I like him as a receiver, but what he does is going to depend a lot on what Justin Fields can do. Can he get him the ball? Can he put the ball in tight windows? Can we not have a lot of weird scrambly plays? Can we show up to work and get it done all the time? That's where Garrett Wilson, we'll see what happens. On the other side, Sauce Gardner, they're going to hunt you. They're going to be on them all the time with it's not going to fail at all. But now you have Aaron Glenn that's going to show you some things. Are you going to get better or are you just going to be who you are? Let's see. I got some faith in both of the guys, but it's all about the situation. It's all about the quarterback and the coach, how they affect the game in their roles with their new team. Now, for me, like I said, East, Buffalo Bills. I got them taking that home. Now let's move on to the AFC North. The North, that's definitely interesting. AFC North is interesting. Now you got four teams there that, in a football sense, don't like each other. In a personal sense, don't really like each other. As far as cities go, I lived in Cleveland, outside of Cleveland for a little bit. I know how they feel about the rest of their division. Trust me when I tell you, they don't all necessarily like each other. But this division is a tough one. There's always going to be a tough one. At the bottom of that division, cellar dweller to me is going to be the Cleveland Browns. If you don't really have your quarterback locked in for the whole year, walking into a division as tough as this, you're destined to lose. I believe. Yes, Flacco got them to the playoffs a couple years ago with Kevin Stefanski, but the reality of Flacco getting to the playoffs, he threw a lot of picks, turned the ball over a lot. He did carry them to some wins, and that was fantastic. But he's a little older. He's a little long in the tooth, as they say. We should be looking at the younger guys, and with Cleveland, they don't know what they're going to do with Gabriel or Shador. So I don't really have that much faith in the Browns. They're going to bring a good defense, but I don't know what that offense is going to do. And in this division, that's tough. Now, in third place in that division, I actually have Cincinnati. Cincinnati mainly because of their defense. Yes, Trey Henderson, great, but the rest of their defense, I don't know. I really don't know. We saw last year their defense really couldn't do anything. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow, Chase Higgins, Chase Brown, killing it, killing it on offense. And I think it's going to be much the same. I think they're going to score a lot of points, a lot of yards, be in a lot of games, a lot of dogfights. But I don't know if that defense is going to be able to hold up and stop the other team in those final drives. So I'm going to have them third in that division. Second in the division, the Pittsburgh Steelers. One thing we know about the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are mid to lower high class, lower upper class, somewhere around it, right? We know that they're going to show up. We know that they're going to at least go 9-8 every year. They're going to bring a lunch bell. They're going to bring a defense. This year, they add Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he puts them over the top, but I think he's stable enough at quarterback to have them second place in that division and probably put them in the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and gush over the move or anything like that. What the Pittsburgh Steelers have needed for a while is just a solid, stable quarterback. Russell Wilson played really good last year. I think if they would have kept him, he would have had a good year, and they'd be in the same exact position that I'm saying now. So I'm not putting them head and shoulders above anybody. I just think they're going to be a little better than they were last year. Think maybe a little in the 11-6, maybe somewhere around there, and sneak into the playoffs somewhere. But number one in that division is the Baltimore Ravens. There's nothing that tells me that they're going to get worse than last year. I actually think they're going to get better. Year over year, you're seeing Lamar get better and better. We know that this is Derrick Henry's second year here. Now, on one hand, he's getting a little bit older. Running backs only last but so long. But in this offense, he could take a little bit of a breath with the weapons that Lamar has on the outside now. Guys, they Flowers. You got Hop. And we know you got Mark Andrews. You got Likely. You got Bates. There are plenty players for Lamar Jackson, and nobody can stop the guy. So I got Baltimore winning this division and making a lot of noise in the playoffs. A lot of noise. Look at the NFC South. NFC South, this one, kind of an easy one. Now, for those that are new, I have a segment every week when I break down games that's called the Nobody Cares Game of the Week. A lot of games that no one cares about are going to come from this division. They're also going to come from the NFC South. Those are two terrible divisions. Now, at the bottom of this division, I'm going to put the Tennessee Titans. I would like to say that the Tennessee Titans could probably be a little better than they are, with a completely new everything there, and especially with the missteps over the last couple of years, drafting a quarterback, moving away from that quarterback, drafting another quarterback over one overall. I don't think Tennessee is going to be anything other than solid brawler. Nothing against them. I think that they're trying to rebuild the right way, but they're rebuilding. So they're going to be at the bottom of the AFC South. After them, I'm going to have the Colts, Indianapolis Colts. They can't get out of their own way as well. You draft a quarterback, he gets hurt. You draft a quarterback that you know needs a lot of development. You can't get it right as far as a coach. You're not even letting your coaches hold it down and actually try and get this guy the way that he wants to, that you need him to play. He continues to get hurt. So you go out and you sign a quarterback who is average to below average at best. We've seen some good things out of Daniel Jones, but we've never seen greatness out of him. Now you put him in Indianapolis, which that team isn't the greatest team in the world. They're all right team. Third at best in the AFC South. Second in the AFC South, I'm going to have to go with Jacksonville Jaguars. At some point, Trevor Lawrence has to make that jump. At some point. He looked like he was going to at some point in his career, and then he regressed. Let's get it together, Trevor. I think that they're surrounding him with some good pieces. At running back, they kind of have a log jam. I don't think they have a clear-cut running back, but on the outside, you're looking pretty good. You bring in Travis Hunter, who I really hope just chooses to play one side of the ball. I think he's going to figure out probably by week 4 or 5, choosing one side and maybe just jumping over to the other one every now and then. That's not bad either. That's Deion Sanders. That's what Deion did with the Cowboys, if you remember. He didn't play both. Every now and then he'd show up on offense every now and then. That's what I see out of Travis Hunter. And hopefully they go that way. But I got Jacksonville coming in second in the AFC South. Coming in first in the AFC South, Houston Texans. There's no reason that they shouldn't win this division going away. CJ Stroud, now he's a vet. You've been there a couple years. You're a vet. Nico Collins will be there. We know that they've taken a little bit of a beating with injuries, especially Tank Dell. That was terrible last year, but they're going to be okay. He's going to be down for a little bit, but Nick Chubb is coming back, and he has something to prove. But the big linchpin to that team is the defense. I think they're going to have the best defense in that division, and with that defense, you only have to score maybe 24 points, somewhere around there, 21 points to win these games. I don't know if these other teams really can score enough against the Texans to stop them from winning that division. So, winner of the AFC South, the Texans. Let's move on to the AFC West. AFC West is really, really interesting. We're going to start at the top of the AFC West. AFC West, the Chiefs. There's no reason for me to say that they're not going to win their division. They're falling into the Patriots with Brady and Belichick. I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying when they were rocking, you didn't pick against them. It was foolish. Now, this year, Rasheed Rice, we know, suspended. Xavier Worthy. What do we got? Travis Kelce, you're at the end of your career. Are we going to turn up one last time and try and get this other ring? That defense, we know Spagnuolo is doing his thing. We know what he is. He's a fantastic defensive coordinator. But a big question for me about the Chiefs, Andy Reid. Now, some coaches, once they get closer to the end of their career, they start handing off some of the decisions and some of this, that, and other. Andy Reid hasn't seemed to do that. Is he still the same guy? Is he still the same coach? I believe he is. I believe the Chiefs are going to win this division. I'm not going to say with no problem because this is a spicy division, right? The next three teams in this division, real interesting. I think number 2 in this division is going to be the Denver Broncos. Now, last year, we saw the Denver Broncos take a little bit of a leap with Sean Payton, with Bo Nix. He seemed like he got his guy. This year, they've added some depth on defense that I think is going to carry them a lot further than people are going to expect. I think they're going to challenge the Chiefs for this division all year. I just think the Chiefs are going to pull it out to get that home field game in the playoffs. I think the Denver Broncos are going to be a damn good team this year. I really do. They're going to be the number 2 team in the AFC West. Number 3 is going to go to the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, we saw the Chargers take a little bit of a jump last year. We saw Coach Harbaugh come in there, wrap his arms around that team, and get them a little bit better. I'm a 49er fan. I've seen it happen. I get it. They're going to be fine. Ad McConkey showed his ass last year as a receiver. Now they bring back Keenan Allen. They're going to have a little more of a dynamic offense, and that defense is going to play really, really tough nose ball. Justin Herbert, I want to see that jump. Remember, everyone gushed over this guy. And then, due to a medical accident, he had to jump in to the starting role his rookie year, and he showed out. He did his thing, but he's just been that same guy every year since. He hasn't made leaps and bounds. He didn't go from Josh Allen A to B to C to D like we saw Josh Allen do. Justin Herbert, now's that time. I saw the leaps as a Niner fan that Coach Harbaugh makes with his quarterbacks. When he wrapped his arms around Alex Smith, he turned him into another kind of player. Then he did the same thing with Cap, turned him into another kind of player. I could see that happening with Herbert. I really could. But I got them 3rd in the AFC West. Now, the 4th team in the AFC West, they could make the most noise in the AFC. But I have them currently at the bottom of that division. The Las Vegas Raiders. That's going to be a real interesting thing there. Got a new coach, got a new quarterback. But this coach and quarterback, they've done this together before. You got Pete Carroll, you got Geno Smith. One, how is that going to work out? You got a new place, you were surrounded by new players. But Geno does have some players to work with. You got Brock Bowers. You just drafted Ashton Genty. I don't know if Jacoby Myers is going to work out there. At the time of this, he may have been traded, but they also brought in one of their guys, one of their big draft picks at receiver, Amari Cooper. That one's going to be actually huge. Amari Cooper didn't look the best last year in Buffalo. But remember, he started in Cleveland. Then you go to Buffalo. You're trying to learn a whole new system and a whole new scheme. Now, at least you have a little bit of time before the season and some time to work itself out. Defensively, what's happening around Max Crosby? I don't know. I don't know how good that team is going to be, but I know Pete Carroll brings a good defense with him. I know he's dealing with a quarterback he's played with before. That offense is going to look somewhat like the Seattle offense. As a 49er fan, that Seattle offense, you never knew what was going to happen with Geno Smith. They could beat you, or you could beat the hell out of them. So the Raiders are going to be real interesting, but I got them in 4. Once again, I got the Chiefs taking on the AFC West. Let's move to the NFC. Gonna be fun. This one's gonna be fun, right? Let's talk about the NFC East. Now, the NFC East, a lot has happened. Actually, in the whole NFC in this past week, a lot has happened that's changed a little bit of the outlook on what I would normally say, definitely what I would pick when it comes to some of these divisions. But let's start with the NFC East. Now, of course, the big news of that division, of the whole NFC, last year or last week, Micah Parsons getting traded to the Packers. That changed the complexity of that division, of that conference. Changed the complexity of that division because now these teams don't have to see him twice. And if you don't have to see him twice, he's a guy you have to scheme against. That's where he's big. Are we saying that he's LT or any of that? No. But when you have to scheme against him, TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, some of these players that Max Crosby, you call them by name in your pregame meeting and your practice uh, tape meetings leading up to games. These are the name guys. Micah is one of those. So it does change that a little bit. Some people, I'm telling you, I know I'm going to get some feedback off of my take for this one. I know I'm going to get some feedback big time because I don't have Philly winning this division. And at the bottom of this division, I got the Giants. Really love the Giants at the bottom of this. The Giants, they're going to be a team they're going to be surprising. They're going to put up some points, but the teams ahead of them are just better. And there's really nothing they can do about it. Dable can feel however he wants. The Maras can feel however they want. Yeah, I get it. The fan base can feel however they want, but the other teams are just better. Third in that division, Dallas Cowboys. Now, this I was going to say with or without Micah, but I think this really does hurt them a lot. Defensively, you're not any better. You're not at all. Jerry said something about he believes they're a little better on defense. They're not. Offensively, they're going to put up points. But running back, what do you got, Cowboys? What's back there? Sure, you have some people signed up for the job, but are they going to be able to do anything with it? I know Dak's going to have an outstanding regular season, but even if they make the playoffs, he's not going to get it done there. So Dallas in third. In second, I got the Eagles. Listen, the Eagles, and the champ. They're fantastic. I'm not going to say anything bad about the Eagles. I'm not going to pick them apart. There's no reason to. They're returning a fantastic cast. I just think that they're going to take a small step back. And with the Washington Commanders sitting there, you can't take a small step back. I don't know if Barkley's going to rush for the same yards he rushed for. I don't know if Hurts is going to still continue to be the same player. He can be. He's been great. I have no notes on him. I'm not going to sit here and say anything about him. But I just think the margin of error is so small with Commanders chopping at them that they're going to take a small little stumble somewhere. And here come the Commanders, who I have coming in number 1. Commanders, we knew what they were last year. I don't think anyone collectively thought that they would be as good as they were when that season kicked off. I really don't. But the progression that they had at quarterback, young Dane, Mr. Daniel, young Jay, good solid cat. What I'm seeing out of him is all the things that we hope RG3 would continue to be until he got hurt. What I'm seeing out of this quarterback is that without getting hurt. They're really wrapping their arms around protecting him, around getting him some talent. And we got Scary Terry on one side. Now you bring in Debo. You got Ertz there. At running back, you have now a young running back room. Try and build them. Dan Quinn, I believe, knows what he's doing there. On defense, Dan Quinn is going to always bring you a good defense. Always bring you a good defense. I got the Commanders winning this division. It may be close. It may come down to that last week, may come down to the last 2 weeks. It's going to be a really, really close one. No disrespect to the Eagles, but I just like the Commanders in this. Moving on to the NFC North. This one's going to be a real interesting division. I'm going to have the Vikings in fourth place in this division. They are starting the young QB. We got to see what he's going to be. JJ got hurt last year before the season, so he wasn't available at all. We don't know what the guy was going to look like at all. But now you're having a rookie quarterback playing this division. We saw Caleb last year. And yes, the Vikings have a great coach. KOC, solid coach, great with quarterbacks, but they're playing against some stacked teams, definitely some stacked teams. And third, I have the Chicago Bears. A lot of people would think that they're going to come in fourth, but you add Ben Johnson, he adds an extra layer to that offense. This is Caleb's second year. All Ben Johnson has been trying to do is build a good, solid foundation around Caleb so he can just play. If the Bears can understand and grasp this offense, they could be really, really good. On the Doomsday, I think he's going to take a jump this year. Let's see what happens on defense with him. Defense, you have to hold up against these other two teams that I'm going to name. You have to hold up, and it's not going to be easy. Finishing second in the NFC East, I got the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are going to be a good team. Now you see them coming. It's not like year before last where they kind of surprised me. It's not like last year where they still kind of, you're like, and then they beat you. And this year, you know exactly who they are. You know who's walking through that door. Goff, highly respected, but they lost both of their quarterbacks. That's a tough one. When you're losing coordinators that way, and I just said coordinators real wild, but when you lose both of your coordinators, it's tough. Now you're rebooting your offense, you're rebooting your defense. Yes, you have the same coach. Yes, you have the same quarterback. You have a lot of the same leaders, but the big voices inside the offensive defense, while coach is doing other things, those have changed. Schemes have changed some. Some of the things that everyone knows about each other are different. I don't know how that's going to fare. I think the team is good enough to win the division. I just don't think that they will because of the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers, like them and the Lions were really close to me until Michael Parsons trade. I think he helps their defense. Offensively, they're going to be fine. Jordan Love, he's going to be just fine. Josh Jacobs, we know what they have at their key positions. We know they have young, flashy, solid receivers. We know that they'll be fine on offense, but defensively, now you have somebody in the cold that can get after that quarterback differently than anybody else in that division. He's going to be a game changer, a game wrecker. And where it helps the NFC East that they don't have to see him twice, it hurts these other teams. Now, Goff, Caleb, AJ, you got to see this guy twice. He's coming. He's coming after you. Don't let him get you. I like the Packers to win this division. Make some noise. I really do. AFC South. This one to me is like the NFC South. Weak. Very much weak. There's going to be a lot of nobody cares games of the week come up in this division. Start at the top of this division. For this one, Tampa Bay. There's no reason Tampa doesn't win this division. We're not sure about any of these other teams, to be any of them. Tampa, at least they're coming with a consistent backbone of players. There's a lot more foundation there. Todd Bowles, he's been there for a minute. We know that. Uh, Baker, we've seen Baker really turn into a really solid, stable quarterback who I believe found a home and should be in Tampa for a while. Probably should retire a Buck. He maybe can lead them to some places that only two guys took him, right? I think they win that division. I'm not going to say they win it going away, but I think they win that division by a couple games and they're able to rest some starters for week 18. And second in that division, I'm going to have to put the Falcons. Now, the Falcons, just like I said about all the teams in that division outside of Tampa, we don't know. We're putting a lot on the shoulders of Penix, putting a lot on the shoulders of Bijan, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. I don't know what any of these guys are going to do. Penix, this is his first year walking in as a starter. So this is kind of a Like, all right, you got a little room to breathe. But all of these other guys, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, all three of these guys, we expected a lot more coming out of college. Now let's see if they can make that leap. So they're what they do is what we think they can do, what we've expected, what we've seen them do. If they can do that, Atlanta can compete for this division. I don't know that they can. I think that they bring a lot of talent to the table, but I just can't put them ahead of the Bucks. Not yet. Then the bottom two teams, third. And third, I'm gonna have to put the Panthers. Now we did see Bryce Young take a little bit of a jump last year after getting benched. They've added him some help. He's very young on the outside. My guy from Arizona, he's I think he's going to be cold, damn near offensive rookie of the year status. I think he's going to be real, real good back there. I think Chuba Hubbard, he's going to be solid out of the backfield. Let's see if that team can continue to make its strides. But I can give them no better than third in that division, in a very weak division. The last team in that division, I think, is going to be the worst team in the NFL, the New Orleans Saints. No knock to Kellen Moore, but that team is in full rebuild mode. I believe their starter, Spencer Rattler, come on. They're going to be there in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. That plays very well if Arch is a Saint. But they are full on rebuilding, not a very good team. They're going to be a lot of nobody cares games every week. It's going to be real interesting living in this area that I'm living in now. A lot more Saints fans than anything else. It's college football area, but New Orleans is a couple hours away, so a lot of Saints people are going to be real sad all year. I believe that. Let's move on to the NFC West. NFC West, home of the Niners. I got the Niners winning that division. Everyone knows, if you paid any attention, the Niners had quote unquote the easiest schedule in the league. Went through this schedule the other day. There's a lot there, the believability in a lot of the wins is there. Playing against the AFC South and NFC South, those are the two easiest divisions, two weakest divisions, I think, in all of sports, just put together. I really could see the Niners winning this division. Now it's going to depend on some things. Big one is health. I think Kyle is a good enough offensive quarterback, good enough offensive coach to deal with any of the losses that have happened, any of the ads, any of the gains. I think he'll be fine. I think Brock Purdy, I think this is the year when everyone just says, okay, Brock Purdy is a really damn good quarterback. We'll stop BS. Defensively, bringing back Robert Saleh is going to be huge. He's going to have that defense humming. Still have some of the cornerstones there. So I think that they're going to be a really solid team. I have them making a lot of noise. I have them having a real easy schedule. It's just going to be about what happens in the playoffs. And second in that division, I got the Rams. The Rams could very well win this division. I might have put them above the Niners if it wasn't for the worry and the health of Matt Stafford. A lot of worry there. As the season progresses, if he stays healthy, the Rams are going to be fine. They're going to make a lot of noise. They added Devontae Adams. So you got Puka on one side, Adams on the other side, Kyron Williams back there. They're going to be a great offensive team. Let's see what they look like on the defensive side. But for now, I'm going to have them second in the division. Third in the division, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks, even though they have a new coach, I like Sam Darnold there. We're going to see exactly what they look like now as a unit post Geno Smith. You now have, I believe, solid offense, solid defense. I just think that they're a young, inexperienced team, so they're not going to finish any better than third. Now, fourth place team, I'm going to put the Arizona Cardinals. I actually have them kind of on the same line as the Seahawks. I don't know. Kyler, like he's good, but I just don't think that he's great at quarterback. I think he'll always be all right. They'll put up some points here or there, but I just don't think that they're as good as the Rams and Niners, to be honest. They may finish ahead of the Seahawks, but I don't have them ahead of the Rams or the Niners. All right, so that's how we ran that down. AFC, NFC, and the AFC. I got the Bills, the Ravens, the Titans, the Chiefs. Now in the playoffs, I got the Denver Broncos, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Pittsburgh Steelers making the playoffs. Those are my playoff teams. In the NFC, I got the Commanders, the Packers, the Bucks, the Niners, and then making the playoffs. I got the Detroit Lions, the Rams, and the Philadelphia Eagles. That's how I see it. Now, in the Super Bowl, I know people are going to have some things to say about my Super Bowl pick. I'm going Chris Berman on it. I'm going Buffalo Bills versus the San Francisco 49ers. I believe Buffalo is going to make that leap to the Super Bowl. And I think that the 49ers, if they finish healthy, just with the experience, they're just going to go on a run. And I think they can. They have the players to do it. Why can't they? If McCaffrey stays healthy, Salah's back to get that defense right, they may be all right in the playoffs. I don't know. I'm homering a little bit. But Buffalo and San Francisco, those are my Super Bowl picks. My MVP, quarterback of the Washington Commanders, Mr. Daniels. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. I think they're going to eke out their division, and the fact that they eke out their division versus a defending Super Bowl champion, I think he's going to win the MVP. Offensive Player of the Year, I think it's going to be Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to put up ridiculous numbers, but I think that voter fatigue thing, which I think is so stupid, I think he's going to rack up an Offensive Player of the Year and not get the MVP. Defensive Player of the Year, said his name a couple times, Micah Parsons. I think he's going to bring so much to the Packers defense that is going to be hard, really hard to justify not giving it to him. I really believe Offensive Rookie of the Year, I believe it's going to go to Ashton Jeanty. Remember, now he's playing for the Raiders, playing with Coach Carroll. They're going to run the ball. Geno has no problem handing that ball off. They have some pieces on the outside. You have Brock Bowers. Teams can't sit 7 in the box, 8 in the box at all against this guy. I think he's going to have a good year. There's going to be other rookies that are going to have some fantastic years. But I just think that he's going to lock down Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Dual Carter. New York Giants, he's going to be an absolute stud. He's going to be a wrecker. And as long as he stays healthy this year, I don't see anybody taking Defensive Rookie of the Year from him. And Coach of the Year, I'm going to say Dan Quinn. I really think Washington is going to cook most of the year. And the fact that they're going to have such a good season with, I believe, the MVP, I believe Dan Quinn is going to go ahead and take home a Coach of the Year, which is going to be huge. Now, NFL, I love it. Absolutely love it. Fantasy football also in action in a couple hours. I have a draft. I cannot wait. Let's get after it. Yes, we'll talk later this week. Wednesday, we're going to break down game by game. I'm going to predict all the games. We're going to have week 1. Nobody cares game of the week. There has to be one. There always has to be one. I already know which one it is. If you're playing Survivor, it's one that you would not pick. All right. So y'all just keep listening, keep rolling. We'll be back and talk about this and much, much, much more. Let's go Niners as always. And until next time, y'all, I will holler.